Step number one, and this is the most important step, and I cannot emphasize this enough, is you must figure out your caloric needs. You're going to figure out two numbers. If you are unhappy with your weight, and this is your weight right now, you're going to figure out roughly how much you are currently eating. So what is your maintenance calories for right now when you are not happy with your weight? So let's say you've got 10 pounds to lose, let's say 20, and you are eating 2,000 calories a day, and you figure this out by either tracking your food on a food tracking app, or you can go onto an online calorie calculator, enter your height, your weight, your age, your activity level, and see what your maintenance calories roughly are. And then you need to figure out how many calories you need to cut, or what your new deficit amount will be. And you need to figure this out properly so that you can lose weight. Now, don't skip this step either. The online calorie calculators do it all for you. So you just type in again your current weight, your desired weight, and it will work out for you how many calories or what deficit you need in order to lose weight. Now, some of these online calorie calculators will spit out a few numbers. It'll spit out a deficit of 500 calories, 400 calories, 300 calories. The bigger your deficit, the faster your weight loss will be, but you may feel it. You may not feel as comfortable. The smaller the deficit, the more comfortable you will feel because it's closer to what you were eating, but it will take longer to lose the weight. You can also create a deficit by moving more. So if you are sedentary and you increase your activity and you keep your food there, you've also created a bit of a deficit. So there are two ways of creating a deficit: through movement and through nutrition, by cutting back a few calories. When you have your calorie budget for weight loss, let's say you were eating 2,000 calories, your new budget is going to be 1,600 calories. This is what you need to eat in a day, on average in a week, to lose some weight. That has given you a deficit of 400 calories, which is very doable, very good for women. As a woman, I wouldn't go under 1,000 calories a day. For most women, you wouldn't want to go under 1,200 calories a day unless you are very, very petite. Now, there are some tiny women who are so short and so small. Maybe those ladies do need 1,000 calories a day in order to lose weight. But for most of us ladies, we are going to need 1,200 to 1,800. Some big active ladies may need more. So it really does depend on you, your lifestyle, your age, your height, your weight, and your goals. Step number two, once you have figured out your calorie budget, like I said, we are going to pretend it was 1,600 calories. You are now going to work out what you need to eat in a day to reach that goal. And ideally, you want to hit your protein target as well. For most women, that protein target is going to be between 100 to 150 grams of protein in a day. And how you work it out is 1 gram of protein per pound of lean or ideal body weight. So for me, my lean or ideal body weight is 50 kilograms. That's around about 100 to 110 pounds. So I should be eating around about 100 to 110 grams of protein a day. What this might look like would be 2 eggs in the morning at breakfast, a scoop of protein powder in a shake for mid-morning snack, a chicken salad, so a whole chicken breast in a salad at lunch, and a 200-gram steak in the evening. And maybe as a snack in the afternoon, I had something with milk. There's protein in milk, and a handful of raw nuts. There's some protein in the nuts. And that's how you get in your protein for the day. You include it in your 3 main meals, and maybe there's a bit of protein in your snacks as well. And it's not that hard to hit, but you need to be conscious of including protein at all your meals. And so you just got to think like that at every meal. Am I having some protein, and a decent amount of protein, usually about the size of your palm? And there you go. You're going to hit your protein goals pretty easily for the day. Step number 3, I want you to hit your fiber target for the day, but do it in stages so that you are not overwhelming yourself all at once. The first step and the most important step is always to figure out your calorie budget. Then you want to figure out how you're going to eat to hit that calorie budget. And this is what we're doing. Step 2, you figure out your protein goals. So how much protein do you need to eat in a day? And what does that actually look like in food? And I suggest you use a food tracking app and enter a whole lot of different foods in there and see what numbers come out. And then you want to hit your fiber goals. This is step number 3. Aim for at least 20 to 25 grams of fiber a day. I know that's a lot. It does sound like a lot. It is a lot, and it is difficult to hit. But if you start in the morning with something like oats and eggs, you've got your fiber already going, and you've got your protein going in your first meal. So you are already ahead of the race. Then you're going to have maybe a piece of fruit at mid-morning with a protein shake. And for lunch, you're going to have, like I said, a chicken salad. I know that that's my go-to, but it is something quick and easy for lunch. Most restaurants serve it. There will be fiber in the vegetables in that chicken salad. You can even boost your fiber by having something like quinoa or high fiber couscous or high fiber rice or something like that. And then for your snack, you might have a handful of nuts. There's fiber in there. And then for your evening meal, if you're going to have a fillet steak or some venison or fish, you're going to have it with vegetables. There's more fiber there as well. And make sure that your carb source is whole grain, and there you get fiber as well. If you include beans, pulses, peas, lentils, you're increasing the fiber content as well. So it can be done. It's not that hard to do, but it does just take a mindset shift. Step number 4, and notice I haven't included exercise yet, but we do need to include some exercise in order to lose weight. Not that exercise itself is the key to weight loss, but it is part of a weight loss journey, and it goes hand in hand with your nutrition. So your weight loss comes from your nutrition. Ultimately, you lose weight when you are in a calorie deficit. And if you are not losing weight, you are not in a deficit for you, for your lifestyle, for your age, for your stage. So in order to start losing weight, you do need to be in a deficit. But to facilitate that and help that, I want you to include some exercise throughout the week. It doesn't have to be difficult. Going for a walk every day is perfect. It's beautiful. You will lose weight by doing that if you're also eating to your caloric needs. Weight training is wonderful for weight loss. Again, you don't want to be doing something that exhausts you so much and that makes you so hungry that you come home and you just want to eat the entire contents of the fridge, which is what I honestly find happens when I go for a run. So I always recommend start off with walking and weight training and see how your nutrition plays with that. If you find you're starving, maybe you've exercised too much and you've pushed up your caloric needs, so you want to maintain your deficit, but you want to make it feel not too difficult. You want to keep your energy levels up, not be hungry or hangry all the time. And then step number 5 is use a food tracking app. This should have been at the beginning, but I want you to fit all these pieces together in your mind. These are the 5 steps. Work out your calorie deficit, start planning and playing around with meals, and think about how you're going to hit your protein goals. Think about your fiber goals. See what you can include, what you can eat to hit your fiber goals for the day. Include some movement. Walking and weights is perfect and beautiful. You don't have to do it all day, every day. Even just 3 times a week is perfect. Fit in what you can. Monitor yourself. See how hungry it makes you or not hungry. And then try and track your food with a food tracking app. And a bonus tip, use a food scale so that you are weighing your food. Therefore, you know exactly what to enter into your food tracking app. If you weigh your food, now you don't have to weigh every item of food all the time, but just to give you a ballpark idea, so you can start eyeballing your food, weigh your food so that you now know 50 grams of rice looks like this, cooked or uncooked, and you enter it into that food tracking app. If you do all these steps and you do them consistently over time, you will lose weight. If you create a deficit of somewhere between 300 to 500 calories a day as your daily deficit, you will lose weight. You will lose somewhere in the range of a pound, pound and a half a week. And so if you do this consistently, week upon week, you will lose a pound, then another pound. Now your weight might do this, but if you keep going, you keep recalibrating, you fall off the wagon, you get back on, you keep thinking about your protein, your fiber, your exercise, your calorie budget for the day, and you just keep reinforcing that in your mind and you keep at it, you will lose weight. Now I can hear you also asking, what about hormones? I'm in perimenopause, I'm in menopause. Ladies, yes, hormones do play a role. It does get harder as we get older. We're also more susceptible to stress, and so our cortisol doesn't come back as fast to baseline as it did when we were young. There are many more factors at play that make it more difficult, but it's not impossible. Ladies are losing weight every day. I've seen it. I've helped ladies get into shape, and it can be done. I do advise, if your hormones are tanking because you are in menopause or perimenopause, consider HRT. If that's something you are open to trying, speak to a doctor, see what you can do to feel good, because I think when your hormones are back up, you'll feel better, and then you will want to do all of these things. When your hormones are low, you're going to feel lethargic, hot flashes, night sweats, miserable, moody, grumpy, no energy. Then it's very hard to stick to in eating and an exercise program. So the hormones themselves won't dictate weight loss, but they do dictate where you store your fat. Testosterone generally dictates that you store your fat around the belly. And what happens in menopause, our estrogen dips, but our testosterone still stays pretty high. And so in relation to each other, you may find you gain more belly fat. There's also the cortisol that takes longer to return to baseline. In general, we do feel more stressed with age because of that. And these things can play a role. So I'm not saying it's easy in midlife. It's not, but it's possible. And the method is still going to be the same. There is no magic weight loss method for midlife. You still have to always, whether you're young, midlife, or old, you always have to be in a small deficit. You have to eat nutritious whole foods, hit your protein goals, include fiber, and that is how you lose weight. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one. And the algorithm thinks you should watch this video here next.